Last week we had Southside Office of Concern, or last week we had Southside Mission.
Nope,
this
try
week
again. Start over.
We have Southside Office of Concern. We have Kristen Berchtold and Belinda Young of Southside Office of Concern. Oh, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
So what's the story behind the name?
I don't know that there really is much of a story. We're actually, and this is kind of, not a whole lot of people know this, but we're in the process of going through a rebranding process. And we'll be changing our name because it really just doesn't fit who we are or what we do anymore. We serve a 4-county area. We have very little presence on the south side of Peoria. It kind of speaks to our roots of a food pantry and a church basement, but not really who we are now, because we really are a growing, innovative organization. So more on that. Maybe we can come back on and announce our name at some point in time. We're not there yet, though.
No problem.
Absolutely.
So what is Southside Office of Concern?
Primarily what we do is permanent supportive housing. Basically, our whole model is take folks that are homeless off the street, put them into permanent homes, and then provide whatever level of support they need to stay there. For a lot of folks, it's help managing a mental illness or some kind of other disabling condition. We actually own and operate 148 units of housing. We are one of the largest supportive housing providers in downstate Illinois. And really what differentiates us from other organizations is there are a lot of great organizations in our community, Southside Mission being one of them, that serve the homeless population in other ways. But we're really the only ones that are ending homelessness by taking people off the streets and putting them in homes. We housed something like 230 people last year. Wow. People that would otherwise be homeless. Families, veterans.
4 counties, you said?
Yes.
So what counties are you in?
Peoria, Tazewell, Woodford, and Fulton.
Okay. And how long have you guys been around?
It'll be 35 years next year.
Very cool. How long have you been with them?
I have been with the organization almost 2 years now.
And Belinda, how long have you been with them?
About 5 months.
5 months?
Yes.
That's short.
And the new one.
What's your favorite part of your job so far?
Just getting out with the community, talking to people, and that's always been my thing anyway. Yeah. So I like being an advocate for the people and just talking.
Yeah, Belinda's actually part of, I don't know how long ago we actually started, about 6 months ago. We were recruited by LISC to lead a new project that's really very different from anything we've done before. But to lead community development areas in the Richland neighborhood of East Peoria. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but it's kind of surrounded by a cat facilities, a water treatment plant. It's kind of a geographically isolated community that is demographically comparable to the south side of Peoria. Not a lot of people even realize that. The difference being that there aren't any social services in that neighborhood. So LISC had a real interest in helping the neighborhood and improving the quality of life in the neighborhood, and so we were recruited to lead that project.
So what will that look like?
Well, it's got a number of components, one being the hiring of a full-time community organizer, Belinda, which is Belinda. She's a resident of the neighborhood and knows it well. The project has several components, one being a home improvement. We've got $500,000 to invest in the aging stock, the aging housing stock in the neighborhood over the next 2 years. We're really excited that project's going to be starting soon. We've got, I think, 3 houses ready to go. Are doing things like new roofs, windows, siding, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And
that
then
can make a big difference.
Yes.
And then 5 more houses in the process, getting pretty close to start.
Yes.
So how does a house qualify for help?
It's income-based as well as family owner-occupied.
Okay.
We started off owner-occupied, but what we found is a lot of residents in that area live in a family home. You know, it's going to be their home, but not at this time. A family member still owns that, maybe a grandparent or a parent.
Okay.
So we found that kind of better fit the needs, and we're taking up to 15 to 20 applications. Right now, you know, we have 8 that have qualified, and hope that more will come on board and want to sign up when they see the construction starting on the houses.
So what's your job description?
Well, I go out in the neighborhood and I take applications from the residents. We start off with a pre-application, and that just kind of sees if they are going to qualify. And then we do the full application with all the legal documents as well, and see if it's a good fit for them and what their needs are.
So what does qualifying mean just in the very front part?
Well, one of the things that we've ran across is they need to have insurance. They need to have homeowners insurance,
Okay.
and they need their taxes to be current.
Okay.
One of the things that we are seeing is that that's been a struggle. So we've tried to do some leveraging and working with other agencies to get them qualified even.
Sure.
Yeah.
So tell us your story. I think you have a story behind what you
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in the Richland area my whole life, with the exception of moving away for a while, raising my children part way, moving back in to help take care of my mother when my dad passed away, and just been a real advocate for that area. There's a stigma on the Richland area. A lot of people from East Peoria look at it as, like the river part, and even other people kind of think that, it's not a desirable area. I have always been an advocate for the area. I think that it's a great area. You know who your neighbors are for the most part, and just want it to be better.
So is that what they consider the bottoms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
they call it the bottoms. To me, that's another thing. I feel like bottoms isn't a bad thing. I feel like that, it's been that way for years, and even as a child, we had little Richland bottom bombers T-shirts, and I mean, you make what you do of it. So
It was more the river bottoms than
yeah,
anything.
yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with that too. They changed the name to Richland Farms. We're not a farm area. We don't have livestock.
It doesn't make sense
So
anymore.
yeah. So we're hoping to change it to Richland Neighborhood and leave it at that. And I'm proud of the area, and I wanted to see it do better.
That's great. So is the owner occupancy big down there, or is it more investment homes?
It is a large portion. I would say probably 35% owner occupied,
Okay.
and the other are landlord, tenant owned. So
Which
So-
is a little bit higher than what the Peoria area has, because Peoria has a fairly large
Yes.
rental market.
yes.
We have a huge rental market, but if somebody wants to buy one of the houses, so would they maybe be able to apply afterwards? I'm just thinking of, all these houses that are on the market, and, people don't have the money to buy them. So it's just something maybe you guys can think about if someone were to get in there, but maybe they're not going to buy it because it needs some work,
yeah.
but maybe they have that opportunity afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not a lot of homes down there for sale at this time. We're not sure what phase 2 is going to look like, but we hope that there is a phase 2.
Okay.
And that we're going to write for that and meet some of the other needs. So we're not sure what that's going to look like at this point.
We're also trying to help some of the families that for some reason don't qualify,
Yes.
make just a little bit too much income, or their property taxes are in arrears. We're working with United Way to get some skilled volunteers and do some work on the homes that don't qualify for the home repair funding, but finding other ways to help the neighborhood too. The other kind of two big pieces of this project is, number one, helping organize the neighborhood leadership and build leadership capacity. We've also put together an advisory board of key stakeholders from the community, and Belinda can tell you a little bit more about that. Who's part of that group? And
Okay.
Well, it's basically made up from city stakeholders, people in the area that are interested in making a difference.
Okay.
We come together once a month and try to envision what it's going to look like and what we can do to make it better.
Sure.
They have a vested interest, and it's nice because, they're in the position to where they can help and want to.
Sure.
So we also have a neighborhood committee from the residents down there, and it's a group of 9 come together and do some things. Like we created an event, Party in the Park, and we held that on the 29th of July. And it was just getting the community out, everybody in the Richland area come down to the park. We had a cookout. We did hot dogs, hamburgers. We had some door prizes and raffles. Well, not really raffles. We just kind of called out numbers, and everybody got a prize pretty much, and it was a good time by all. We had
How
a
was the
bouncy
turnout?
house. It was really good. We had over 200 people.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was real nice, and everything was
great
free.
turnout.
So yeah, we had a dunk tank and a bouncy house and games for the kids and some games for the adults even.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you get any feedback from that?
We have, yeah. I've got a lot of feedback, and everybody's kind of wanting to do it again. And our next event, is some volunteering, but we also would like to hold a neighborhood garage sale.
Oh, sure.
And that's from some of the committee members as well.
So what flipped the switch for you? I mean, you're kind of a tenant of your family, right? But what flipped the switch from just being somebody that was there to wanting to get active in the...
Well, I think I've always been a little outspoken and advocate for people who may not speak up. And I'm interested, I want to make a difference. So this position came available, and I kind of looked at it and sat back for a while, and then I said, you know what, I could make a difference, and I really want to do that. So I did. I came on board, and there's been some struggles and, some things that are obstacles from residents, that are not trusting now because of past experiences, down there. The city's coming in and doing some code violations right now for a lot of things that have been that way for a long time, and they've never really done anything before, and now they are. So there's just obstacles, but we're hoping that everything will get moving along and look real good and be great for the residents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you guys said you have a volunteer opportunity coming up too?
August 18th.
Okay.
We're having, we're going to do some painting and cleaning of the inside of the community center.
Okay.
We're going to do a cleanup along Center Street and get some of the garbage and debris cleaned up there. And then also we hope to do a porch roof. If we have some skilled laborers, we're going to get a porch roof done for somebody that didn't qualify for the program.
Okay. So you maybe need some volunteers out there that might be able to help you with that?
That would be great, yes.
Okay.
Especially contractors, right?
Yes, roofers.
August
That'd be
18th
great.
is a big volunteer day, and then we'll have another big crew of volunteers as part of United Way Day of Caring on September 8th. So we're working on projects for that too. Just some general neighborhood beautification. We've talked about doing some public art projects. We put a coat of paint on the community center building. It went from a dismal beigey gray. It was basically the same color as the parking lot. Now it's a bright blue with a pretty yellow door, and the kids have put colorful handprints on it. So just doing some things like that to improve the neighborhood. We're working on some recycling events. If you drive through the neighborhood, there's lots of tires, and people have TVs in their backyard, and getting, some of that stuff cleaned up.
That's very cool.
So we're here with Southside Office of Concern with Belinda Young and Kristen Berchtold. And again, define for me real quick, what's the definition of what Southside Office of Concern? I'm doing two in a row, so here we go. Give us a real definition of what Southside Office of Concern is.
Well, like I said, we're an agency that has been around for 35 years. Our primary focus in the past has been helping people that are homeless, which is all about safe, decent, and affordable housing. And that's kind of what led us to this project when we were asked to take it on. We thought about it. It's kind of outside of our scope, but we're known as an organization that gets things done in the community. And we were asked to do it, and we decided that it did fit.
Awesome.
How many houses do you guys have available right now for the homeless? Like, what's your capacity? What do you guys have available?
We own and operate 148 units of housing stock in a number of different configurations. We have one complex that's just for homeless families or couples. Others, New Hope Apartments, which is located right downtown Peoria, corner of Jefferson and Fayette, in the old YWCA building that sits right on 74 there. That's 83 apartment units for individuals who were homeless before they moved in, single adults, and also have some type of disabling condition.
Okay.
to be honest with you, we really don't have vacancies. There is such a need in this community, and there are enough homeless people that when somebody, our whole goal is to provide the support to help them stay in their home, but ultimately the goal is to help these families get self-sufficient enough to move on to other permanent housing. So when we turn a unit over, there's always somebody to come right back in. Our vacancies are very, very low, and they don't last long enough to, get a place cleaned up, maybe do some minor repairs, and then we have another individual or family in there right away.
And aren't you guys one of few too that house couples?
Yes.
'Cause I feel like they're usually separated, right?
Yes.
Men and
yes.
women.
Last summer we opened an expansion to our Glendale Commons development, which was our development for families, that included the addition of a 14-unit apartment building that is honestly the only facility in our community for homeless couples. So yeah, up until that opened, people had to be separated, which didn't make sense. It's not a good use of community resources, and you're splitting up families, which you don't want to do anyway. And
right. So how else can people help?
How can they help? We can always use volunteers, particularly with all of our efforts down in Richland. Volunteer groups, we've got a lot of those coming now as part of the United Way campaign, but we can use those throughout the year.
And then you had a really cool fundraiser last year. Well, was it technically this year?
It was
January.
technically this year. It was in January. Yeah.
So will you be doing that again?
Absolutely.
Really cool being the
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. Yeah.
Yes, we will. We're still working on a date. It was Gimme Shelter, and the whole premise was I think we ended up with 58 people who spent the night outside the Peoria Civic Center in a cardboard refrigerator box from 5 p.m. on Friday evening until 5 a.m. on Saturday morning. As a way to, number one, build awareness of homelessness as an issue in a community, and it is, and to just give people just a little taste of what it's like to be homeless
Right.
in the heart of a central Illinois winter. Everybody that participated raised $1,000 for the privilege of spending the night outside. It was wildly successful. So we're definitely doing it again, pulling a committee together to start working on that really, really soon. We're looking at dates. So I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it will happen again for sure.
So what did you guys end up raising from that event?
I think we set a goal of $50,000. I think we ended up somewhere around 60, can't give you the exact number, 63,000, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the costs for you guys to run that event, was that much?
Pretty minimal.
I know you got the boxes donated, right?
Yep, Sherman's provided all the
Right.
boxes.
Refrigerator boxes, right?
Refrigerator boxes. The expenses were really pretty low. We bought everybody T-shirts, and we had a really nice, warm, catered breakfast in the morning. Lots of hot coffee, and but everything else was donated. I think our expenses were under $3,000, which is pretty amazing.
That's a great fundraiser. The fundraisers are hard. I mean, you know this, and so it's like, how do you get funds raised with minimal, and then plus time, right? Because committees and everything it's a lot of work.
It is. It's a great fundraiser for us because it's tied so closely to who we are and what we do. You can have a gala or some kind of a fancy dinner, but that doesn't
Everybody
really
does
speak.
it.
Right.
Or a run. Everybody's doing
Right.
Everybody does
But
a run.
this was really tied to what we did, and it was really fabulous. We got tons of media attention, I think, because it was unique and it was different. And
I remember seeing all kinds.
we were all over the place.
Just got back from my mission trip because I really wanted to do it, but I had just gotten back like the day before, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't go from living without water and electricity to staying in a box in the freezing cold. The Haiti to winter here in Peoria. No, it wasn't happening. So I apologize for that, but I thought it was an awesome event, and I watched and supported all the Facebook posts, which were great, talking about it, because I know Zach Taylor was there. Not Zach Taylor. I'm sorry, with Keller Williams.
Oh, Zach Baker.
Zach Baker. Zach Baker was on a lot, and so was Ryan Tucker, and it was just interesting. I know Jeff Griffin was there too, and those posts were fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great event. It's been a long time since I can't even remember the last time I stayed up all night, but I can tell you I was a heck of a lot younger. It took me a couple days to recover after it was all over because I didn't sleep. I mean, everybody else at some point went to sleep, but I was in charge, and I don't know. I just couldn't lay down and go to sleep. What if something would happen? So I was up all night.
I bet. But still a very cool, unique event that you guys did, and I'm glad it was a success for you, and I look forward to hearing when the next date is.
Yeah, it really brought a lot of attention to the issue of homelessness. We also did a series of educational sessions around different topics regarding homelessness in families, homelessness in veterans, how the community as a whole is dealing with the issue. And that was really good too. They were really well attended.
Are we making strides for the homeless in Peoria?
I think we are. Our veteran homelessness is nearly non-existent now, which is fabulous. I mean, that's kind of been a focus area across the country federally, is to end veteran homelessness, and we're there. I think the next focus area is going to be they're really seeing huge increases in what they call homeless youth, which is not children per se, but it's the ages of 18 to 23, a lot of kids getting out of foster care, not being equipped with the skills to be on their own. At 18 you're done and are ending. So that'll be our next focus area.
Wow. So what's your website, contact information if somebody wants to volunteer or just wants to know more about you?
Sure. You can find all the information on our website, which is www.ssocpeoria.org for now, until we change our name. Can also just call our office, which is 674, 7310.
7310, yes.
Very cool. This has been awesome. So anything else that you want to share or ask for help with or just make an awareness?
Well, one thing that we are having trouble has been kind of an obstacle for us. The people who don't qualify for the program, maybe like a back porch. We're doing a back porch, hopefully, with the 18th or the 8th. And it's a cement porch. The woman, just about falls off the porch. And we're just going to cover that with wood, we hope to.
Okay.
Where we're going to get the funding for the wood, we're not sure. Just things like that when we go to do a volunteer project, sometimes we don't have the materials, and we struggle there.
So materials is something else that you guys are in need of?
Building materials, lumber, cash is always good too because we can buy what we need, obviously.
Yes.
Do you have somebody planning out that work as far as how to cover it? And
well, right now we're just in the early stages of it. We're going out, we're taking pictures, we're looking at the measurements, and then that way when that day comes a little closer, which I guess it is next week, we'll hope to have the measurements already and know what size pieces of wood we need and nails or screws and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So we have roofing tiles that was donated to us. We're getting ready to put a storage container down there at the community center. So we have 4 square of roofing tiles. So that's something that's going to help also.
So if somebody wants to help out and be a good neighbor, that's pretty important for us. The area that we're talking about is right near the new levee district in East Peoria.
Correct. Yes, it's right behind SEFCU.
Right there. Right. Yeah. So any other ways that you can think of that people can help?
Just volunteering.
Volunteering.
Yeah.
So do you have a website or on your website, does it have an application where someone could apply to be a volunteer, or they just call you?
There's volunteer information on our website. It kind of all comes through me, so you can just reach out to me.
Okay.
So how did you get started in all of this? As far as being a person
Southside.
At Southside.
Being a fundraiser or
your job?
My job. Yeah. Well, I have a marketing background. And I don't know, back when I went to school, nobody went to school to be a fundraiser, a nonprofit fundraiser. It really wasn't a thing. But typically what you see is, oh, you're good at talking to people. You'd be great at this. And, you know, you just kind of fall into that role. So I've been in the nonprofit world for, oh my gosh, a long time, 25 years, working for a number of different organizations. I absolutely love the Southside Office of Concern. We really, truly are doing incredible things in this community, and haven't always done a great job of telling our story. So I'm trying to fix that and let people know that, you know, what we're doing in the community and what a difference it's making.
So what's one of the favorite things about your job?
The favorite thing about my job, I mean, you take people who are homeless, and they're not homeless anymore. You can't really, I mean, that affects someone's life in every single way.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine being a child and trying to go to school and study and succeed, and you don't even know where you're sleeping at night? That just breaks my heart.
Yeah. You usually can't sleep at night, and
So I go home every day, and I know that I have made our community a better place.
Yeah.
And you don't have any better feeling than that.
Any stories that you want to share to tell about Southside Office of Concern? Like just a sample story, a success story, if you will. Either of you?
There are so many. We are actually working with, and this is a good one, we're working with a group of kind of stakeholders in the community, local police, fire, ambulance services, the hospital emergency departments, to work together as a group and reduce the use of expensive emergency services in our community. Because one thing that happens is if you're homeless, that's the way you get help, is through those emergency services. Well, those services cost our community tons of money. So what we're doing is trying to identify the folks that are using those services the most, and then sending our homeless outreach team to find them. They identified 39 people in our community that are using these services over and over and over again. Our homeless outreach team has found them all.
Great.
Housed about half of them already. There's one person who had, I think it was 48 contacts with emergency services in the last calendar year. That's, again, police, going to the emergency room, calling an ambulance, all of those things that cost thousands of dollars every time they happen. We have now housed that individual. He has been in his housing for 5 months now. He's receiving ongoing medical care for his medical issues. He had a couple of pretty serious health issues. And in that 5 months, he hasn't called or drawn on emergency service once. So those are things that are saving our community hundreds of thousands of dollars, in addition to just improving this gentleman's life immeasurably.
Yeah. I love the idea of bringing them to where they need to be. You know, just more than just putting them in a box and forgetting about it.
Well, and the whole, you know, it's really the way we deal with homelessness as a community is changing. What they figured out is people are much better equipped to deal with their issues if they have a roof over their heads. So attaching all kinds of preconditions to housing just doesn't work. People can't get to the place, you know. So the whole point is, let's put them in a house and then let's help them deal with their issues. And it's incredibly successful. Our success rate is like 97%.
Wow, that's really good.
Yes. You know, 97% of the people we put in a house stay there and don't return to homelessness.
That's great.
Awesome.
One of the awesome things about Southside Office of Concern.
See, it's not me. It's not me.
I got it.
No, it's a mouthful, isn't it? We have the world's longest email addresses, too.
Oh, wow.
Mine is 37 characters long. I counted it.
Mine to see.
Southside Office of Concern.org.
Thank you, Kristen and Belinda. Southside Office of Concern. Remind us real quick, what's the website they can check?
www.ssocpeoria.org.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
PeoriaLife.com